Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about define material and section properties, which is the second step of modeling procedure. Let's move on to define material properties. To define material, you have to go to define menu in the menu bar and select material properties. Then define material window will open. There some default materials are given for concrete, steel and rebar. And also there are options to add new material, add copy of material or modify or show existing material. If you select add new material, this window will appear. Here you can select the material properties and then material property data window will appear. If you choose modify or show material, directly material property data window will open. Let's define a material step by step. Here, first I choose add new material. There you have to select the basic properties, region, material type, standard and grade. I select grade 2025 concrete according to European standards. Then the material property data will open. Here you can define the material name, material type and directional symmetry type. Here I keep material name as it is, and also you can specify weight density or mass density, and the mechanical property data also you can modify. However, here I keep them as it is. And if you're going to design, you have to check the material property design data too. Here characteristic concrete strength is 20 megapascal. These are some advanced properties for other analysis. Make sure you click OK after defining material. If not, these changes will not save. Here, now I have defined a material property. Then I have to define section properties before draw the structure. There also you have to go to define, then section properties and click whatever section you need to define. There are a few options like frame sections, tendon sections, slab section, deck section, wall section, reinforcing bar size, and etc. These are the windows appear when you choose frame properties or slab properties. Here I am going to define a frame section. As you can see, there are some default sections available for concrete and steel. Not using them, you can click to import new properties, add new property, copy of property, or modify existing property. Here I select add new property option. There, first you have to select the section shape from steel and concrete section shapes. And also there are some frequently used shapes here. Here I select concrete rectangular section. Then the frame section property data window open. Here, first you have to define the property name. I prefer to add the structural member type, size to the property name to avoid mix up with other areas. Here I define a beam with 225 mm times 225 mm. Then you have to select the material. Here select concrete grade as C37, and here also you can change the section shape. There you have to change the depth width to the actual dimension. If you are going to design the section for reinforcement, you have to modify rebar. Here for column and beam there are two types. However, if you are doing only the analysis part of the building, this part will not matter. And also you can use add copy of property to add sections with similar properties, changing the section dimensions and the name. Here I am going to define a beam section with 300 millimeter times 225 millimeters. I change only the depth. If you want to use steel sections, you also can use add new property and select steel section, whatever you want, and enter the dimensions. However, without doing that, you can import steel section properties from available databases. Here, I select BS shapes and I can even import few sections at once. We will learn to draw the model next session.